வணக்கம். In the video we are going to discuss about oxidation number of a coordination complexes, that is nothing but the central metal ion. பாருங்க, oxidation number na enna அப்படினாக்கா, இப்ப iron oda oxidation number enna அப்படினா, it is the charge left on iron on metal when all other species are removed with their electron pairs. When the ligands, simply we are saying when the ligands are removed with the electron pairs. Okay va? Right. Ipa gavninga, what is the charge of iron here and what is the charge of iron here? We are going to find out. So here 4 into, what is the charge of potassium? Sir, it is a 1s block element, so it will have a charge of +1. Very good. Plus, let us consider the charge of iron as X. Plus 6 into, what is the charge of cyanide? We know the charge of cyanide is -1. So when we add the charge of all the species in a complex, it is equal to 0. Why, sir? It consists of both cation and also anion. Similarly, easier solaram for sodium chloride. What is the charge of sodium? It is +1. What is the charge of chlorine? It is -1. The value is 0. This is a neutral species. Only sodium has a charge of +1 and chlorine has a charge of -1. But sodium chloride as a whole, it is neutral. Similarly, when we add all the charges of a species, it is equal to 0. Right? Okay. Look here. So we can solve and we can get the value of charge of iron as +2 here. Similarly, look here. 3 into +1 for potassium plus X for iron plus 6 into -1 for cyanide. The total value is equal to 0. By solving, we simply get the value of charge of iron as +3. Right? Come here. Here only cation is given. So when we add the charges of these species, it will be equal to that value. It will be equal to the charge of the square bracket which is given over the square bracket. So consider the charge of cobalt as X plus 6 times of ammonia. What is the charge of ammonia? Consider, we have mentioned earlier in neutral ligand itself. Ammonia comes under the category of neutral ligand. Since it is neutral, it doesn't have any charge. So the total value is equal to charge over the species. Therefore, the charge of cobalt here, it is +3. Okay? Come here. What is the charge over zinc? So 2 times of sodium. What is the charge of sodium? We know it is very clear. +1. Plus charge of zinc, X. Plus 4 into cyanide charge is -1. The total value is equal to 0. By solving, we get the value of zinc as +2. Clear? Similarly, look here. Let the charge of cobalt is X plus 2 into, what is the charge of En? Already mentioned in ligands bidentate neutral type. So it is a neutral ligand. It is nothing but the En, ethylene diamine. Since it is neutral, the charge is 0 plus 2 into, what is the charge of chlorine? -1 plus 1 into, what is the charge of chlorine here? It is also -1. The sum of all the value is equal to 0. By solving, we can get the value of cobalt here as +3. Right? Then look here. What is the charge of potassium? 3 into potassium charge is +1 plus chromium, let it be X plus, what is the charge of, what is the ligand here? Means it is nothing but oxalato. What is its charge? One oxalato has a charge of -2. Here there are 3 oxalato species. So the sum of all the values is equal to 0. So by simplification, we can get the value of chromium as +3. Come here. Copper, let it be X plus 4 into ammonia value is 0 as already mentioned, plus what is the value of sulfate? Its charge is -2. We are very clear with that. So the charge of copper is +2 here in this complex. Come here. Let the charge of cobalt be X plus 3 times of ammonia charge is 0 as already mentioned, plus 3 into, what is the charge of nitro group? It is NO2 -1 charge. So 3 into -1, it is equal to, it is a neutral complex, the charge is 0. If it is not mentioned, means the charge is 0. It is equal to 0. So the value of X is +3 here. Okay? So in this method, you can find the charge of whatever the species may be. You can find the charge of central metal ion very easily. Clear?